Today is going to be an interesting video. We are going to master this song right from scratch. So a lot of you requested me to do a mastering tutorial. You commented, you also DM'd me. So I decided to do a video where I master a song completely from scratch. I'll be using not just stock plugins but also third-party plugins so that you will actually see how I work with a mastering project. I'm Florina Jain, otherwise known as Flow of Music, and I put out a lot of production videos, especially using Logic Pro. So if that is something that you would like, then hit the subscribe button. So let's get started. So I have just looped the small section that seems very loud in this entire track, and we're going to focus on that and change our setting. So I'm going to first add an EQ from FabFilter. So this is Pro Q3, and we're going to manipulate some high mids. So before that, right now, the maximum that you can manipulate is up to 12 dB. But that is a very huge change, especially to master something, right? When you are mastering, just make sure you do very subtle changes and not one huge change. So I'm just going to change this to 3 dB so that my limit is different and I can deal with this limit. This is enhancing some mid frequencies. Now I'm going to add another compressor, same from FabFilter. So let's add Pro C2. Now I'm going to change this to mastering and I'm going to turn off auto gain. What auto gain means is obviously there's going to be some loss in volume when you're going to add a compressor. And usually it's better you balance that volume out on your own and not rely on using an auto gain. So I'm going to do a very subtle compression. So this is the compression that I wanted, just a subtle compression just to, balance out those peak volumes that are coming in. And moving on, I'm going to add something interesting. I'm going to go to Utility, Gain and Dual Mono. Now, a lot of you would have seen me using this plugin time and again because I really love how this plugin works. And no, this is not just a normal gain that I use. I click these 3 dots, come down to stereo, change it to mid and side, click the side. Now, whatever you increase here is going to increase the volume of the elements that you have panned, not the ones in the middle. I'm just going to do an increase over here. This was a huge increase, by the way, but you are able to hear the elements that is panned, right? So that's a change that I want, but not a lot. So I'm just going to do a 1 dB increase. That should work. The next one, we're going to look at a saturation plugin, and that is the Kramer tape. Now, this is a plugin that's going to add some saturation. I'll show you an extreme setting. So can you hear it sounding a little bit grainy and some amount of saturation is added. Now this is a lot, so I'm just going to give that effect in a very tiny way possible. just that will do. Now I feel like the overall vocal volume can be just a little bit louder, just a tiny bit louder. If you are also thinking, how can I do that? Because I don't have the individual stems in the mastering project. So if you don't have the mixing project with you, but you feel like you want to change certain elements like maybe the vocals or the drums or the bass, you have this beautiful plugin that can help you achieve that job. So under Isotope, there is a plugin called Master Rebalance. Yes, it's this one. So I'm just going to select this, and you can control either the vocal or the bass or the drum. So I just wanted to select vocal. I'll show you how that sounds like. So obviously it's only manipulating the vocals and not any other track. I'm just going to increase it by very small. So very small change. So almost all of my plugins are over right now. And finally, I just want to add a limiter. Normally, I use FabFilters and Pro L2 for a limiter, but I'm just going to show you the one that comes with the Logic. Let's go to Dynamics and this normal limiter. Now, before we do that, also add this metering plugin, which is the loudness meter side by side. So one thing you need to understand, when you are trying to upload your track onto Spotify or any other streaming platform, you can't upload it with just a headroom that you have, okay? So I've told in my mixing tutorials that you need to leave at least 6 dB of headroom. When you try to export that with just that volume, your track is not going to sound loud enough. So there are certain values you need to keep in mind so that from wherever your song is streaming, it's going to sound loud and clear. The LUFS or the levels that I usually go for is around -12 to -9. So if that is achieved, then wherever you play it from, be it Spotify or YouTube or Instagram, it's going to sound good. So how I achieve that is, first, I change this output level from 0 to -1. You guys know that limiter is acting like a compressor, but it's an extreme level of compression. So when I input -1 dB as my output level, it's essentially telling the limiter that that is my threshold. So no signal should go beyond -1 dB. So I am leaving some area around 1 dB of space, and that is generally good when you're working with mastering tracks. Some keep it to -0.5, some to -1, whatever is okay for you. I do it -1. I'm going to keep increasing the gain till in this loudness meter under the S value, I reach a range around -12 to -9. So at this point, I feel like I want to go back to the compressor and change my attack time and put my ratio a little higher. So obviously under that S you saw it came between -12 to -9, and with this volume, when you begin to export and upload it on any streaming platform, it will sound very well. It will be in the right volume. So this is how I master any project. Each track is different. The way I process this track may not be the same for another track. I may use different plugins, or I might use different processing techniques to do something else. It depends on the genre, it depends on the type of track, lots of things. So essentially it's about EQ, compressor, saturation, basically making your whole track tight and sounding well, and you're dealing with just one single track and not with stems. So how are you going to make it nice? In this particular track, it's just a lot of vocals. There's no instrument solo, there's nothing like that. When I do have instrument solos, I add a gain knob and automate. So when that instrument solo comes, I automate the gain and increase the volume slightly in that area so that the energy is met in the same way how it meets during the chorus. So there are different techniques that people adapt when it comes to different songs based on the genre and all those things. So I hope you got some idea about mastering from what I did, and I usually work with a lot of stock plugins so that anybody who sees my video will be able to adapt it on their projects. This is the first time I wanted to do a video where I use the plugins that I normally would use. All these third-party plugins, so that anybody who's using these same plugins might have some idea and might get some new techniques out of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Never stop learning, keep making music, and I'll see you guys in another video.